Hi there, in this video, and due to popular demand, I'm going to be making the Hemingway kit's universal spring winder. So the kit consists of various pieces of metal, a piece of plastic, a long drill bit, a screw, a grub screw, washer, and some instructions, and the usual high quality Hemingway's drawings. So apparently this tool was launched in the late 1940s by a Zurich-based company, and manufacturing rights were granted to a number of countries throughout the world. And in the UK it was available through Acru Electric Tool Manufacturing Company Limited, and it was called a Pyro bit. So the first thing to do is to make the grip out of this piece of aluminium bar. So I've already faced the end off, I've centre drilled, and I've centre punched an offset there, and that is the position where I'm going to drill right through with this long drill bit to a depth of around about 3 inches, I think it is. So I've offset it in this 4-jaw chuck and centred on that point there, and I've also made sure that it's parallel with the bed. Just looking at the drawing, this drill bit needs to go in about 4.5 inches in depth, so it's up to that point. So I'll chuck it up to that point initially until I get there, and then I'll have to extend it out of the chuck. So it's just a matter of taking this nice and steady and using plenty of WD-40. I've just had a rethink actually. I'll put a shorter drill bit in first, and then I can finish it off with this. Well, this long drill bit's a bit heavy going. I'm not overly convinced it's a great bit, to be honest. Well, I don't have another 5mm long drill bit. I've got this 4.2 which I'll have a go at, and then I can probably use the drill bit that was supplied with the kit to open it up to 5mm. That's cutting a lot better. Well, I've managed to get to a depth of 4 inches with my drill bit, so there's another half to go. Okay, so let's see if I can open it up with the one supplied with the kit. Well, unfortunately this drill bit feels totally blunt, it's just not cutting. I think I'll have to see if I can grind it on the bench grinder and give it another try. Well, that took some time, and what I would suggest is, if you're going to buy the kit, probably go out and buy an extra long drill bit, a decent quality one. I used drill bits from UK Drills, which seem to be pretty good. Unfortunately, that was the maximum size I had, 4.2mm. So the instructions suggest putting a bit of a sort of a curve on this end using a spherical turning tool, but I've not got one of those, so I'm going to have to leave that until later on, and I'll just use a file. So the next process is to put some knurling on here. So I've put some marks here roughly where the knurling needs to start and finish, and I'm going to use this Hemingway's knurling tool that I made quite a while ago. It's a very nice tool, is that? I'm really impressed with that. Go about a quarter of a turn. Well, I can't say it's the best bit of knurling I've ever done, but hey ho. So what I need to do is to put it in the milling vise and keep that line horizontal, and then mill out this section here, just making sure it's nice and parallel. Seems to have gone okay. You can just see the hole. So I think I need to drill through there for about 1/8 of an inch or something like that. I need to take a smaller amount off this side to a length of about 1 inch. Well, off camera I've drilled a couple of holes and tapped that one M5 for a grub screw, and now I'm just using this gear cutter just to put a line on the end, like a scribe line. Go a bit deeper. Well, I think that's the handle complete, and I did mess up off camera because this hole here should have been drilled 1/2 inch from the edge, and I initially drilled it 1/4 inch from the edge. So I wasted half an hour making a bit of a dowel pin and Loctiting it in place and then cleaning it up, but you can't see where it is. So it sort of worked out okay in the end, and I'll get on and machine the other bits and pieces. So now there's a requirement to make a stud out of this piece of metal which will go in there, and it's got a flat on, which is where the grub screw will hold it in place. Now it's got some threads on each side, and the drawing shows it as an M8 thread or 5/16 BSF. Now I've not got a die for an M8, and I've not got any BSF taps or dies, but I've got 5/16 by 26 BSB tap and die, so I'm going to go with that. Okay, so I need to cut a thread here, 5/16 BSB, and it needs to be at a length of 1/2 inch. So I've set my stop there on the carriage, 1/2 inch, and with this already being sort of 1/2 inch in diameter, if I take 5/16 off that, I get 0.1875 of an inch to come off. Obviously divide it by 2, that gives me 0.0938, so 93 thou or 94 thou to come off. So I'm going to use that gauge up there to tell me when I've got to that point. Okay, so I've taken 84 thou off, so what I'll do is I'll just check the diameter with the calipers and then make the final cut, but I'll do that off camera. So that seems to have worked out okay. So what I need to do now is to repeat a similar process on this side here and partially thread it, but I'll do all that off camera. So now I need to put this flat on and drill a hole through at 90 degrees to the flat. So to do that I'm going to use this Stevenson's collet block. Put it on the mill. So there's 31 thou to come off this. Well, it's slowly taking shape, and I made the nut off camera, and like I say, I've not got a radius turning tool, but I just use that tool, just using the cross slide and the carriage just to put a bit of a shape on it. It's worked out okay. So there are just 3 items to make now. There's a clamp nut, which I'm actually going to make it out of brass, I think. That doesn't come with the kit. There's a clamp washer, which is made out of the plastic, and then there's this dividing disc to make, which is made out of that piece of metal, and this is used to create an arbor, so we can actually make that disc. So for the clamping nut, I've used a parting tool to define the width, and now what I'm going to do is I'm going to use this little round tool just to put a chamfer on each side. Then I'm going to use the knurling tool to put some knurls on the inside of it, and then I can drill and tap it. Well, I think that looks okay. It needed a bit of a recess cutting in there, going by the drawing. I did that with boring bar, and I'm glad I made it in brass. It's alright, that. So now I need to make the most complicated bit, and that's the dividing disc. That's quite a funny shape. So first of all, I'm holding the disc in this 3-jaw chuck using the external jaws. I'm going to drill and ream to 5/16. And this is a matter of cutting a recess 1/2 inch in diameter by 3/32 of an inch deep. Okay, so I've made a bit of an arbor here, so it's got an M6 thread on it, and I've bolted the disc to it, and I've also put a pin through there, an 1/8 of an inch in diameter pin. So I need to put it onto the lathe and just face that side off, then switch it round and face the other side off, and then I'll get back to you. That's turned out okay. So what I need to do now is to cut a taper on this face here, and to do that I need to put a taper on this end. I've faced it off and centre drilled it very lightly. What I need to do is put it in the mill and turn it at 5 degrees and then mill that top off, so I'm getting a 5-degree angle on it. And apparently the best way to do that is to put like a slip gauge underneath, which is on the edge, which is 0.09 of an inch, 90th thou, just like that, and hold it in the vise like that, and then mill the top off. Well, my vise is pretty much level, so we're looking for 5 degrees. Creepers. And that's 85.11, so I'll go with that, and I'll turn all the equipment off because I don't want to get it all spiked. Well, I think the storm's passed. We once got hit by lightning, and it knocked out all the central heating, boiler, TVs, hi-fi. Well, left us in a right old mess. Anyway, I think we're okay. Having said that, it's starting to rain again, but anyway, we'll crack on. So here we're going to drill and tap to an M6 thread. Once I've tapped this, I can mill this flat, but I'll do that bit off camera. Well, it's absolutely hammering it down outside, but anyway, so I've attached the piece to the arbor, and it's got the recessed bit faced up against the arbor, and it's just a matter of putting it in the lathe and then turning this end. So here you can see the offset a bit better. a bit to come off. I need to get that down to 1mm, I think. But I'll do that a bit off camera. Now the drawing suggests putting some graduation marks on here, but I'm not going to bother. I'm just going to measure it with the caliper when I need to make a spring. And the way to assemble it, I did get a bit confused actually. I had to take it into the house to work it out. But what you do is you put the disc on there, so that goes in the recess. And then you've got the flat there, which goes against that grub screw. Like that, you tighten the grub screw up. That puts the hole in alignment with that hole in the handle. Put the washer on there. That nut. And on this side you put a washer and this nut. Now this nut here actually is too long, so I'm going to just shorten that on the lathe. But that's the idea. Okay, so I've assembled it, so I've got a nice bit of sort of tension on there, nice bit of resistance, so that's not going to spin freely. And then I push the wire through the handle. You can see the wire, it's quite fine as this piece. And then out through the top. Like that. And put the disc on. I think it might need a bit of practice making springs with this, but that's the idea, and you've got a nice bit of tension on that on the wire. So go over to the lathe and we'll have a try. I'm sure this will require a bit of experimentation. I've got some reasonably heavy wire from the kit, and we'll give it a try. I think the width I've got is around about 2.5mm. So the lathe is in its forward rotation position and it'll run at 100 RPM. Hey, it works! Amazing! Well, considering that's my first attempt, I'm well impressed. Very happy with that. Well, I must say, I can't believe how well that worked out. It's a fantastic way to get a consistent gap between your coils. There's no way I could have done that manually. And considering that's a first attempt, I'm really happy. Now I don't know why the drill bit I got with the kit was blunt, maybe that's just a one-off, but the rest of the kit was great, and you can't really go wrong with Hemingway's drawings. So I'm well impressed, and I'm sure you'll see a lot of this tool in future videos. So I hope you found the video of interest, and I hope to see you later.